It's great to have an overflowing crowd, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. My name is Jonathan Bullen, and I am the chairman of the Utah State University Foundation and their board of directors. On behalf of all of the trustees of the foundation, I give you a sincere and warm welcome to the significant day in the history of Utah State University. This is a very special occasion for Utah State, its faculty, students, and staff, and I'm thrilled to be here and be a part of this very, very significant announcement. First of all, I'd like to introduce the people on the stage. We have Dr. Stan L. Albrecht, University President, Dr. Carol Strong, Dean of the College of Education and Human Services, Dr. Joyce Kincaid, Vice Provost for Undergraduate Studies and Research, Elaine Watkins, a current recipient of the Lillywhite Scholarship, Dr. Jay Jensen, Emeritus Professor and former head of the Department of Communicative Disorders and Deaf Education in the College of Education and Human Services, and Mr. Ren Hoops, the brother of Eloise Hoops and executor of the Ray and Eloise Lillywhite estate. I'd also like to take this opportunity to welcome some of our distinguished guests who are with us in the audience. With us today are representatives from the State Board of Regents and the University Board of Trustees. We also welcome trustees of the USU Foundation as well as university vice presidents, deans, and directors. Most importantly, I would like to welcome and acknowledge the friends and family of Ray and Eloise Lillywhite who are able to be with us today. This gift is a remarkable symbol of the love and the affection of Ray and Eloise that they had for this university and the excellence of its faculty and students, and we are very glad that you could be with us today to celebrate their lives and this remarkable achievement and their achievements. I would like to invite to the podium now President Stan Albrecht, who will make this exciting announcement. President Albrecht will be followed by a short video which has been prepared in honor of this occasion. Following the video, we will hear from several speakers who will share with us the impact of this gift. We'll go to that point. President?
Jonathan, first let me offer my thanks to you and other members of our foundation trustees, members of Utah State University's Board of Trustees, regents, and others who are here. I can't tell you how much it means to us to have you support us in the way that you do on occasions like this. As I was coming in, I think everyone that I stopped and talked with wanted to share a quick story about how Ray and Eloise Lillywhite had affected their lives. And so we have here in the audience many, many, many individuals who have had the opportunity over the course of their lives, their careers as students, as faculty members, as neighbors, as friends, to have been touched by their association with this wonderful couple and their families. Over the course of the time that I have the opportunity to serve as president of Utah State University, I hope there will be many days that will stand out as days that are significant to this institution, to its present and to its future. But I can assure you that this is one of those days that will stand out. It is my great honor and my great pleasure to announce a gift to Utah State University that will impact not only our current faculty and students, but those who will come to Utah State University for many, many years into the future. Thanks to the immeasurable generosity of Ray and Eloise Lillywhite and their family, because of them, it is my great honor to announce the second largest philanthropic gift that Utah State University has ever received. So today I'm pleased to announce that Utah State University has received a gift in the amount of $4.5 million from the estate of Ray and Eloise Lillywhite, and that with this gift, the Lillywhite family giving to Utah State University now approaches almost $6 million. Would you join me in expressing gratitude? To be perfectly frank with you, I don't know how one adequately expresses gratitude for such a wonderful gift to this university. Let me tell you about some of the details of the gift and the legacy that it will leave. First, $2 million from the gift will be used to create the Ray L. and Eloise Hoops Lillywhite Endowed Chair in Speech-Language Pathology in the Department of Communicative Disorders and Deaf Education. This endowed chair, and we'll say more about endowed chairs in just a few minutes, but this endowed chair is given in memory of their daughter Joan Lillywhite Christensen. This chair will enhance an already outstanding faculty in the College of Education and Human Services, and Dean Carol Strong will say just a few more things in a few minutes about the importance of an endowed chair. Secondly, $2 million will be used to create the Ray L. and Eloise Hoops Lillywhite University Scholars Endowment. This fund will significantly enhance a previous scholarship endowment that Lillywhites contributed in 1984 in memory of their son Danny Lillywhite, which made possible the University Scholars Program. The Lillywhite Scholarship currently provides 2 full tuition scholarships each year. With this additional endowment gift of $2 million, we will now be able to provide up to 30 additional full-time scholarships annually at Utah State University. Some of you have heard me say many times before that scholarship support is absolutely essential to this university and to our opportunity to fulfill our land-grant mission to provide access to students who otherwise would not have the opportunity to receive a college education. Vice Provost Joyce Kincaid will elaborate on this fund in just a few minutes. Thirdly, the remaining portion of the gift will enhance the existing Joan Lillywhite Christensen Scholarship in the Department of Communicative Disorders and Deaf Education, and will provide an additional 8 to 10 students in this program with financial support. This departmental scholarship support, along with the new endowed chair, will bring greatly increased visibility and recognition to what is already a world-class program. Again, please. It is my pleasure to recognize members of the Lillywhite family who are here with us today. As you may know, Ray and Eloise had 2 children, Joan and Danny, both of whom passed away at a premature age. Ray and Eloise's daughter, Joan, was married to Boyd Christensen, a 1966 graduate of Utah State in business administration. Boyd now lives in Colorado Springs, but due to a family illness was unable to be with us today, though he would very much have liked to have been here. However, we're pleased that 2 of their 6 children could be here. And let me just ask them to stand if they would, please. Court Christensen and his wife, Gina. Court is a grandson of Ray and Eloise, a graduate in business administration, lives with his family in Cache Valley. Court works for the Flying J Corporation in Ogden. And Court, I hope that as you continue your life and career here in northern Utah, that you will have many opportunities to join us again and to welcome and get to know some of the Lillywhite scholars that will be here as a result of this wonderful gift. Brant, over on this side. Brant Christensen and his wife Anne Marie. And their children, you all get to stand up, all of the, how's that? Thank you, thank you. Brant and Anne Marie both are graduates of Utah State University. Brant graduated in 1993 with his bachelor's degree and in 1995 with his master's degree in communicative disorders. Anne Marie received her bachelor's degree in 1991 and received her master's in 1994 in special education. They're here from Cheyenne, Wyoming, where Brant is an audiologist at the University of Wyoming. And Brant, along with your brother, I hope that you will have opportunities many times in the future to visit us again at Utah State University to greet and welcome Lillywhite scholars. But I hope also that as you attend a speech pathology conference sometime in the future that you'll have the opportunity to hear a keynote address that is given by the Utah State University Lillywhite chair occupant. I hope at that point you'll take great pride in knowing that your grandparents made all of that possible. We have several close friends of Ray and Eloise here with us today. I'd like to ask them to stand if they would please. Joining us are Dr. Jay Jensen and his wife Barbara from Phoenix. Jay is here on the stand. Barbara is down here. And Dr. Thomas Johnson and his wife Katie. Here from St. George, where it's probably a little bit warmer. Both are retired professors and department heads from communicative disorders at Utah State, and were close with Ray and Eloise early on as they became philanthropically involved with Utah State University. And we'll have the opportunity of hearing a few remarks from Jay in just a moment. Finally, I'm particularly pleased to acknowledge the participation of Mr. Ren Hoops. Ren, would you stand up, please? I know you're going to say a few things in a minute, but so everyone can see you. Ren is Eloise's brother and was extremely close to both Ray and Eloise. He also serves as executor of their estate. Ren's involvement with this important gift today rekindled a friendship that he and I established many years ago when we were both involved with another university in this state. This other university just happens to be a little further to the south and shares similar but not exact school colors. Ren is also a true Utah man, but I dare say that his love and respect for Utah State University equals that of the most loyal Aggie. We can proudly count him as one of us. I've had the great pleasure over the last number of weeks and months of spending time with Ren, where we talked about the most appropriate manner in which to honor the hopes and dreams of Ray and Eloise. It has really been through what were some long and very thoughtful discussions that we're able to come to a decision, and that he was able to come to a decision that he could recommend to the rest of the family on the kinds of things that would make the greatest difference for the faculty and students at Utah State University. And so I would like to personally thank Ren for that time together, for those thoughtful discussions, and I am most proud, Ren, to count you as a friend. Many other friends and related family members are with us today, as well as many retired and current members of the Utah State University faculty. Many of you have known the Lillywhites over the course of your lives and careers, and we welcome all of you. And so again, I would like to offer deep and heartfelt thanks to the Lillywhite family. Please, if you would, tell those members of your family who could not be here with you today how much we all appreciate your grandparents' support of Utah State University through this wonderful and magnificent gift. We want you to share in the pride of this event, and we hope that all of you will feel that this is your home and that you'll join us on campus many times in the future. I'd like to now direct your attention to a video that has been produced for this special occasion. This video includes a song that was commissioned in honor of the Lillywhite gift. It's included as background music for a segment of the DVD that's included on our program, and was written especially in honor of Joan and Danny and the Lillywhite family. After you've watched the video, I'd like to invite Dean Carol Strong and Vice Provost Joyce Kincaid to make some brief remarks, and Joyce will introduce our student speaker.
From the earliest days of their lives together, Ray and Eloise Lillywhite graciously devoted themselves to public service. Their lives were always marked by a determination to generously serve others in communities everywhere. In particular, they highly valued education because the two of them worked so hard to obtain their own. They both had a long history of caring and support for Utah State University and its students. But for Ray and Eloise, giving to Utah State was never about personal recognition. It was always about helping young students in need. They were determined to offer hope and to change lives. And this gift, in memory of their children Joan and Danny, will impact the lives of countless people well into the future.
When Shawnee was like 18 months old, we were finding that Shawnee probably wasn't going to start speaking, and we were going to need some kind of technology to help us. And it was very emotional because her brain was so smart and her body just couldn't get it out.
I work with Shawnee Christensen. She has a form of muscular dystrophy which makes her muscles weak, especially the ones that she uses for speech. So she has an electronic communication device which allows her to say the things that she wants to. It has speech output.
Let them be anything that they can dream. Hold them up higher, build that fire that makes them believe.
She's doing wonderfully in school. She's reading, learning, interacting with the teacher, and all of that improvement is a result of being able to communicate in her classroom, which is what she's learning and experiencing working with ComD.
I think there's nothing in life more important than communication. I think most people would agree with that, and I think what's wonderful about this department, that whether we're talking about audiology or deaf education or speech-language pathology, our focus is on helping people to develop better communication skills, and that changes lives.
Give them hope, let them be anything that they can dream. Hold them up higher, build that fire that makes them believe.
I have a course in augmentative communication and also an interdisciplinary training program in assistive technology, which is a little more general and looks at technology related to mobility needs, communication needs, visual impairments, hearing impairments. So students get a variety of experiences. They meet people from the community who have different disabilities, and they actually work in the assistive technology fabrication lab.
This class is assistive technology. It's where we work on projects for people who have disabilities to give them assistance in whatever way they need it.
We have all the power tools, all of the measuring devices, all of the materials that we need to build whatever we decide we want to build.
This is an adjustable slant board for a little girl we made who has muscular dystrophy, and we just made it so just depending on what activity she's doing, it will adjust. If she's reading a book, it will just sit nicely on there and she's still able to turn the pages.
There's a wide range of projects that we do. It's just a matter of what the needs of the community are.
We can now train our students because we have enough facilities to, both in speech language and audiology as well as deaf ed, be able to provide our students the kind of training they need and hands-on experience they need that we could not provide before. And so it really makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference in the lives of faculty, students, and the patrons we see here, and the future lives of people when they go out in the field.
Let them be anything that they can dream. Hold them up higher, build that fire that makes them believe. And if your mouth can't speak and your eyes don't see the colors of the rainbow, and if your hands get weak, I will lift you up and take you where I know you can go. Give them hope, let them be anything.
You're not helping poor disabled people. It's not that kind of an attitude. Rather, you're empowering people to be more successful in life.
I feel very strongly that she's going to go where she wants to go in this life because she's been given the opportunity to. The communication is such a huge thing. Physical impairments can be overcome, but if you can't communicate with the people who are around you, there's no way that you can succeed or go where you need to go, and they've given her that opportunity.
There's a brand new day that's breaking. There's a hope in all I'm.
Thank you for helping me and my teachers.
Good afternoon. I'm Carol Strong, Dean of the College of Education and Human Services. Joan Lillywhite Christensen and I have one life-changing event in common. We each met Jay Jensen at a time when we were searching for a career. We each enrolled in an Introduction to Speech and Hearing class taught by Jay Jensen. Jay inspired us to seek a career serving persons with speech and language impairments. I never met Joan, but here today, our lives converge as we celebrate the gifts donated in her memory to the Communicative Disorders and Deaf Education Department. As the President stated, the Lillywhite Estate provides 3 gifts. 2 directly impact the department and college. The first gift is an endowed chair in speech-language pathology, donated in memory of their only daughter, Joan. And this gift will enable the department to attract a distinguished scholar with a significant record of research, teaching, and service, and a proven track record of securing and assisting others in securing public and private funding for research. The scholar will contribute in a major way to our understanding of speech and language processes for individuals with impaired communication. Through this gift, Ray and Eloise Lillywhite demonstrate their genuine concern for helping people with speech and language impairments, as did their daughter, Joan. Thus, the Lillywhite Endowed Chair supports our basic land-grant mission of making a positive difference in people's lives. The second gift for the department is a substantial enhancement to the previously established Joan Lillywhite Christensen Scholarship Endowment. This enhancement will provide more scholarships for students in speech-language pathology who demonstrate outstanding academic and civic accomplishments. In an era of increasing tuition costs for our professional programs, what a wonderful gift this is. On behalf of the department and college, I express gratitude for these gifts which shine a national spotlight on our program that already merits significant honors and praise. The gifts will bring added honor to a deserving faculty and students. And finally, speaking for myself, but on behalf of Joan Lillywhite Christensen as well, I express gratitude to Jay Jensen for inspiring each of us to seek a career in speech-language pathology, and I express my thanks to Lorenzo Hoops, Eloise's brother, for all he has done to make these generous gifts a reality.
Hi, I'm Joyce Kincaid. I have a long list of Lillywhite scholars who have benefited over the last number of years from this scholarship, but I'd like to highlight just 3 for you today. The first one is John Crockett, who's a senior and will graduate in electrical engineering this year. And when we had our student showcase last month, our celebration of undergraduate research, John, who was able to focus on his studies because of this scholarship, was named the Outstanding Undergraduate Researcher for the College of Engineering. And I have to have some help here because I'm an English professor on exactly what it was he did. So I'll read this. That he examined how to reduce the computational complexity for decoding important new error correction codes. John, as an undergraduate, is actually functioning as a teaching assistant in an upper-level graduate course for Dr. Todd Moon. That's one impact of the Lillywhite Scholar, and that's John, who's a senior. But Utah State is known for really hands-on learning and the kind of opportunities it gives students, not only as juniors and seniors, but now as freshmen and sophomores. Student number 2 I'd like to tell you about is Brooke Christensen, who is a major in elementary education. As a freshman, she was partnered with Dr. Deborah Burns in elementary education and one of our stellar teachers in Edith Bowen Lab School. And the 3 of them did a wonderful research project that has already appeared in print. In addition, through her classroom work, she published another article with Dr. Marty Deaver, also in education. And this year, she's working with Dr. Sylvia Reed on a reading project. She is going to have a publication track record when she graduates that many of our faculty would be envious of. And she's going to go into the elementary school classroom having so much more preparation, not just from her classroom experience, because she's been doing action research. And what a fine teacher Brooke is going to be. We started a program whereby our students as freshmen could get involved in research and hands-on learning a couple of years ago. And we had at our annual event in 2004, where we take outstanding undergraduate researchers to the state capitol to show off what it means for undergraduates to go to a research university, a real distinguished group of students there. We also had, for the very first time, a freshman, only a few months into her university career, report on her work in the Center of Persons for Disabilities, in which she worked with Dr. Cindy Rowland on internet access for those who are disabled. I'm very pleased to introduce to you that freshman who was at the state capitol, Elaine Watkins.
Thank you so much. I'm delighted to be here with you today. My name is Elaine Watkins, and I have just completed my sophomore year here at Utah State University as a nutrition science dietetics major. I've had such a rich experience these past 2 years. I've learned a great deal and grown in countless ways. One aspect of my life that has contributed to this is my Lillywhite Undergraduate Research Scholarship, which has provided me with a generous stipend each semester since my freshman year. This has allowed me to focus my efforts more fully on my academic pursuits because I haven't had to work during the school year. I've had more time to live a balanced and fulfilling life and make the most of my Utah State experience. I'm sincerely grateful I could receive this scholarship money thus far in my college career. This money has also given me the opportunity to work with a professor participating in research on campus. I've been working with Dr. Cindy Rowland in the Center for Persons with Disabilities. And last January, as Dr. Kincaid mentioned, I had the chance to present my research project to our state legislators at the Capitol building with other selected students from around the state. The knowledge I've gained through these experiences has opened up endless possibilities for me. I've found a great deal of insight regarding my future, and I've learned so much working in a professional environment with devoted people. This experience will serve me well as I move on to complete my upper-level coursework. I would not have benefited from these things without this tremendous scholarship donation. Thank you to the Lillywhites for your generous contributions to the university. You bless the lives of so many students and expand their college experience to new dimensions. I'm personally grateful to the Lillywhite family for their generosity and its positive effect on my life. I know all other recipients of these donations would speak likewise. Again, I give you my heartfelt thank you for your contributions to Utah State.
Thank you, Elaine. Your remarks help us to remember why so many of us continue to support this great university. You represent the thousands of students here at Utah State who, through assistance such as you have received, will truly make a difference in our communities and in the future. I would now like to invite Dr. Jay Jensen, Professor Emeritus and former head of the Department of Communicative Disorders and Deaf Education, to share with us for a few minutes how this relationship with Ray and Eloise began many years ago. He will be followed by Ren Hoops. Following Ren, the President will conclude today's program with closing remarks. Jay?
Good afternoon. President Albrecht and Dean Strong and the family of Ray and Eloise, and all of the friends of the Lillywhite family that are here. It is truly, excuse me, heartwarming and a privilege for me to be here today. I think if there's a theme to the remarks that I have, it should probably be that large results come from many different small acts. This very generous gift from the Lillywhite family had some of its origin, at least, in a few small interactions that I personally had with Ray and Eloise, and particularly their daughter Joan. It's easy to understand the connection that Ray and Eloise had with Utah State University, but perhaps it's a little more difficult to see the connection they had with the Department of Communicative Disorders. 48 years ago, when I began my education for the PhD degree at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, Ray and Eloise were located there in Madison and took good care of a few of the graduate students who were there seeking degrees. In the envelope of time that covered the years 1957 through 1960, the number of graduate students from Utah or having Utah roots included such subsequent U.S. notables as former President Stanford Kazare, who's here in the audience today, former Math Department head Larry Cannon, Morris Taylor from the College of Agriculture, Gerald Griffin from the USDA, Lamar Anderson from the Department of Horticulture, Gary Richardson, former department head from Dairy, and his mentor, Anthony Ernstrom. There are probably many more here, or that I should mention, that were there at the same period of time or just prior to it, and all of us received the same kind personal attention from the Lillywhites. So, small act number one. I had the privilege of teaching an introductory class for students expressing some interest in speech and language pathology. One of the students in my class was Joan Lillywhite. I knew that she was the daughter of Ray and Eloise, but I'm also certain that didn't color my estimation of her worth as a student. That short, brief interaction with Joan marks small act number two. I didn't know then that Joan had decided to pursue a professional degree in speech and language pathology. She started her training there at the University of Wisconsin, but ultimately finished at that university that President Albrecht talked about, south of here. And following her professional preparation, Joan went on to work as a professional both in Utah and in California. So, small act number three. That consisted of the professional career choice that Joan chose to follow. All of you know now of the untimely death of Joan and her brother Danny, and sometime after Joan's death, Ray approached me and said that he and Eloise were interested in honoring Joan in some way, and thought that a gift to the Department of Communicative Disorders would be a way to begin. We established the Joan Lillywhite Christensen Scholarship within the department and used the interest money from that account to fund senior scholarships within the department. And one of the early recipients was Joan and Boyd's son, Brant, who's sitting here today as well. Over the years, Ray and Eloise generously contributed to the department, including a renovation of the facility, the physical facility, in which the department is now housed. So, small act number four. Now today we've heard from President Albrecht of the result of these many small acts. It is so like Ray and Eloise to continue nurturing students, and all of us here recognize the value of this gift to the university, and especially to the Department of Communicative Disorders and Deaf Education. I wish that I could say that I was responsible for the Lillywhites' choosing of the department and the university for this wonderful gift. I had a very minor part in this whole process. Many here have assisted Ray and Eloise as they were planning the disposition of their estate. I firmly believe, however, that the many small acts by many different people helped Ray and Eloise in their decision to make this wonderful gift to the university. This legacy from the Lillywhite family will have impact beyond those of us here assembled today, and it will be said that many small acts may truly show an end result that is lasting, and it is a fitting tribute to a wonderful family, the Lillywhites, and to their daughter, Joan Lillywhite Christensen. I'm proud of them. Thank you.
It's an honor for me to represent the Lillywhite family, some of whom are here today, both their immediate family and extended family. I feel as something of a surrogate also for Ray and Eloise, and believe that they would have me first wonder what all this fuss is about. But nevertheless would want me to express their great appreciation for the honor that's come to them today. They would say unmerited. And in my own right, I would like to express my sincere thanks and appreciation to Dr. and President and Mrs. Albrecht, to Scott Meechan, Vice President, to Dr. Strong, Dean Strong, and to Frank Stewart for the very wonderful assistance that they have given me, the sensitivity that they've had, the understanding that they've had, the cooperation that they have given in working our way through the details of that which has culminated in that which we celebrate today. I thought of several things that I might touch on today in these few remarks. I've been anxious to properly characterize Ray and Eloise. It was first suggested that I might emphasize their achievements in spite of very modest beginnings. But I was one with them in those years, and with them didn't ever feel deprived. So what was so great about success following really happy years of childhood and getting an education, years that were humble and Spartan, of course? But most of our contemporaries, like us, were poor, but just not aware of it. The great blessing of those years is that they learned to work. And another very important lesson, that a part of all we earned was ours to keep. In other words, the principle of industry and thrift and self-reliance was inculcated in our minds and in our hearts. And then reflecting on that, I concluded that that was enough to say about Ray and Eloise's early life, and even their achievements, significant and great as they are and were. Rather, I decided to lead our thoughts to what Ray and Eloise have left their family, their professional and business associates, their friends, and even this university beyond this chair and the scholarships. Their monetary bequests to their family have been generous. The monetary request to the university is indeed impressive and enough to warrant and justify what we're celebrating today. But there is more to their legacy than that. And that's what I'd like to just mention for a moment or two. Before they even came here, I think Ray and Eloise began developing an interest in Utah State Agricultural College. The very name of the institution may have been a factor. People then, only a generation away from the pioneers who eked a living from the soil, were not at all ashamed of the name Utah State Agricultural College. To be an Aggie was something to be proud of. It may have started when Ray, being the last of 4 brothers, came to Utah State Agricultural College and matriculated here. Not so with Eloise. She was the first of her family and the last to do so. I remember as a child being glued to an Atwater Kent 3-dial radio in those days, and every Thanksgiving Day we'd adjust the timing of the dinner to listen to the classic Utah Aggie football game. We knew where our father's allegiance was, he being a Utah man, but not so with Ray. His mind was set on Logan, and what was good enough for Ray was good enough for Eloise, then and always thereafter. Their interest in Utah State grew steadily, year by year, while they were here, and even more so after they left. Who and what may have been responsible is worth thinking about. It may have been a teacher, a professor, a classmate, a school experience that inculcated in them a love for this institution, which began with interest and went from there to commitment, loyalty, and eventually to almost a passion. I suggest, as Dr. Jensen has made his comments here, that this isn't unusual. Perhaps every one of us here can think back of our days in our educational pursuits and can recall a teacher, a classmate, an experience that had an influence in our lives and made a difference. This, to me, then, is the first challenge that may come from Ray and Eloise. Particularly, I would speak to the people associated with the university here, of being sensitive to the importance of every contact that you may have with a student, as it can have lasting effect, as Dr. Jensen has so well stated here in his relationship with Joan. Somewhat simultaneously with this going on, their interest in the work of the Department of Communicative Disorders began when Joan, a name now well known in the department, obtained her degrees from other institutions, but her interest became their interest. Joan's enthusiasm for the potential of her profession infected them. And again, it was someone here, perhaps Dr. Jensen, maybe Dr. Johnson, maybe Stan Kazir, or maybe all of them, touched their lives, and again their interest grew from interest to loyalty to commitment, and again to almost a passion. These two happenings or incidents are responsible for what we're here to commemorate today. And therein, to me, is the example, the standard, the legacy that Ray and Eloise have left that may be as important or perhaps more so than the chair or the scholarships that we celebrate today. Ray and Eloise were not individuals of exceptional talent. Their achievements came as a result of hard work, sacrifice, and a determination to make a difference. To me, it's something of an attitudinal thing. There was a Dr. Scott, when president of the University of Chicago, undertook a study on achievement as it relates to attitude. The conclusion of this landmark study is interesting. It was that attitude has a greater bearing on achievement than does mental capacity. So the challenge that I believe Ray and Eloise give to us, perhaps unknowingly, is to attach ourselves to something of importance, of significance, something worthwhile, something larger than ourselves, and to dedicate ourselves to it, and then through perseverance and hard work, as in their case, lend themselves to striving to make a difference. My hope and prayer is that that example is not lost on us. Thank you very much.
At some point in the not too distant future, we need to find some time to celebrate the contribution of Lorenzo Hoops. One of the amazing things about having the opportunity to be with him in lots of different settings is to recognize that what you see happening at Utah State University today, he's also had a role in making wonderful contributions to other institutions in the state, Weber State, Brigham Young University, the University of Utah. He lives in California, but I think probably flies up at least 2 or 3 times a month to help us with some of these wonderful commitments. As I, and I'll close quickly, but as I listened to Ren, I thought there's really an amazing thing here, that many of the really great gifts that are coming to us are coming from those who grew up with very little. Many times families who grew up almost in poverty, had little in the way of material possession, but then later in life, through their extremely hard work and sacrifice, they began to have successes, those successes leading to some degree of personal wealth. And then having achieved that, they immediately began to look for ways to give it away, to bless others. And so what a wonderful afternoon. The events of today, as Dr. Jensen and others have indicated, will impact this university long after those of us sitting here today are not even a memory. And so this is a long-term proposition. Let me just thank each of you for coming, for sharing with us this wonderful and important event. And would you now please join with me one more time in expressing our appreciation to the Lillywhite family. Thank you very much. Please stay and visit if you would. There are refreshments in the back of the room. One of our very talented students, Ben Salisbury, will continue providing some background music, has been providing background music, but please stay, get to know the family, enjoy some refreshments. Again, thank you for being here.